So let's get to Bucs practice today, the latest. Cade Otton was back out there. Looked very good. I think I got a little Cade Otton video here of him catching a pass. Of course I won't. There we go. Let's see Cade in action today. Moving pretty good. But of course I picked him. Yeah, that's Josh. Well, Josh Williams was back today. There he is. A little stutter step. And that's he could have got a lot of run the other night. He could have got a lot of run. There's Sean Tucker, who's just the best third down back in the game, in case you didn't know. How good is that cat? He just, every time he gets the ball, it just seems like something positive, and then something really big is going to happen.
Yeah, he's really fun to watch, and that's why Todd Bowles had like a lengthy answer and about I think it was after the game maybe yesterday, about how we got to find a way to get this guy the ball. And it's tough because you have a 1,000-yard runner at Bucky Irving and you have Rachaad White in a contract year. So how do you sort of divvy it up and make sure that he gets out there just a little bit? But when he gets out there, he makes the most of his playing time. Did I need to see him in the fourth quarter on Saturday? Probably not, but
No. There's Tez Johnson. He was back out there today, and Tez needs to be out there because he's, everybody loves him. He's a great kid, great personality, but you can't make the club in the tub. You got to be out there making plays, and we don't need to see Ibuka returning punts.
Oh my gosh.
Tez was back out. Yeah, Tez was back out there today. Yeah, and that's
the world.
Good. Well, they're down. They're down so many. All right, here's a little Cade Otton, a little 88. A little quick pass there, but he's moving well. He had the hamstring problem, so he's a veteran. He don't need to be out there anyway. So the fact that he's back now is good. Hopefully they took lots of time and all those guys will be back and good. So 3 guys back. That's about all the news we had to. And he did mention Rachaad is day to day with his groin injury. It looked bad on TV, and in the game, he kind of heard it, and then he took another rep, which I was not, and I'm sure the coaches were not happy about that. It's very nice that you're trying to push through some pain, but in the preseason, you get a little tweak in your groin, get the hell out of the game, bro.
Yeah. What are we going to do with
that's bad.
These groin and these hamstring injuries for these Buccaneer players have taken their toll in recent years.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like you didn't mention Benjamin Morrison, I guess he still has not returned to practice. He's dealing with a hamstring.
Yeah. And that one seems a little bit more serious.
And when it comes to hamstrings, they're always touch and go. Same thing with groin. So to me, that's the only thing that's going to stop the Bucs this year when I look at them is the injuries. And obviously they're already dealing with several high profile injuries before the season has even started.
Well, and Benjamin Morrison, anytime it happens to a rookie, it just so stunts your growth in the first year. These training camp reps are so absolutely critical. And it just puts you behind the 8 ball in terms of learning the system and being out there, getting used to the NFL, because he was having a great camp. And, you just worry a little bit about his hips and surgically repaired hips and how does that work with the hamstring. So, we're counting on Benjamin Morrison to be part of this team and an important part. So he needs to get back. The rest, obviously, Wirfs and Godwin, those guys will be back. You don't really worry about them missing training camp or timing issues or any of that stuff. So it doesn't really bother me with them. Just get back and be healthy and be productive. But, Benjamin Morrison is going to miss out. So David Walker, who was the guy they kind of counted on for depth rushing, obviously he's out for the season with an ACL. Now Benjamin Morrison. So, the injuries are starting to creep up a little bit. So that's why you got to have depth. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about Saturday night. The number one thing, obviously, for me was Kyle Trask. Who's going to be the backup quarterback? And based on what I've seen in practice and what I saw the other night, to me, it's still very much up in the air. Very much up in the air. I don't think the Bucs go out and get Teddy Bridgewater if they weren't concerned about Kyle Trask. And you could tell from Bowles' comments after the game, they've been concerned about Kyle Trask. And I'll play that here in a little bit. He said basically, he didn't have a great week of practice when the ones were out there. And that's what I told you as soon as I got back from practice. I'm like, he's working with the ones and it's not great. It wasn't terrible, but it should be better in the 5th year. And I think that's the reason why they pulled the trigger on Teddy Bridgewater. And I do think at some point Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the backup quarterback. Now, Teddy was a little rusty today. He's a little rusty. The short throws look fine. But today they were doing a drill where they were throwing play action about a 20-yard deep in cut. Those are the ones that really those are the big time NFL throws. Those are the ones that you really got to rip. And Baker's so good at them. He's so good. He throws such a good ball with velocity and great accuracy. And that's a hard one. It's 20 yards over the middle, hitting a moving target at its, full pace. And Teddy struggled with that today. He struggled with the deep, and they're running the deep outs as well. And the corner routes, those are the toughest throws for an NFL quarterback. And he struggled with those today. He's a little rusty. I think he'll be fine. He's played a lot of football in this league. He has a great arm, shows great accuracy, but right now he's a little rusty. Now, Kyle Trask also misses those throws, but he's 5 years in. And that inconsistency, I think, is one of the reasons that he's on, kind of on the block right now. I don't mean on the block might be a bad term. I just think that he does not have a stranglehold on this backup quarterback job, in my opinion. My good friend Scott Reynolds thinks differently. I heard him on his podcast. He feels like Trask has it. He may have gotten some information from the coaches that I have not gotten. I don't know. But just from what I read, I'm not there yet.
Well, Scott,
I think now, if Baker went down, Kyle would be the guy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe even the first couple weeks of the season, just because he's mastered. But I think as the weeks go on and Teddy gets more reps and more understanding of the offense, and I think eventually he becomes the backup.
Well, Scott mentioned something on their post show on Saturday that I was not aware of. And I guess if you're an NFL veteran of like 8 or 9 years or something like that, if you're on the 53-man roster at the start of the season, I guess that means like your full salary is guaranteed for the entire year. And so that was sort of one of the reasons why he was speculating that Teddy won't be quarterback 2, at least to start, because they can put him on the practice squad. His salary won't be guaranteed for the whole year. And it's the same thing goes for Sterling Shepard. And that's why Sterling Shepard is probably likely going to be the practice squad guy more than one of the top 6 to start the season. So that's part of it. And I also view Teddy just coming in. If anything, it pushes Kyle Trask to be a little bit better. Yep. And I think you saw that a little bit in Saturday's game, because we've been watching Kyle Trask play in the preseason for 4 years and now 1 game here in his 5th year. And I've never watched him play and gone, I never watched him play and saw that gamer that, everybody talked about that he was at Florida. I just thought he was sort of this middling backup quarterback that I didn't really have much confidence in. I tell you what, on Saturday night, I thought I saw a different Kyle Trask. I really did. I thought he was playing a little bit quicker than what we've seen him before. I thought he was naturally going through his progressions, had a couple throws there where you could tell first option wasn't there, second option wasn't there. He didn't panic. He didn't panic or anything like that. He didn't abort the pocket. He stayed in there, and he made a big-time throw to Ryan Miller to pick up a first down at one point. So I thought Kyle Trask, like you said, had a big night. He was the story of it. I think he probably is going to be the backup quarterback going into the season. And at the end of the day, if Teddy Bridgewater sticks around on the practice squad and he's your third-string quarterback, well, how many teams have the luxury of having a 10-year veteran who's started, 50 games or whatever in the NFL as their third-string quarterback? And as the 49ers learned 3 years ago, you're 2 plays away from having to go to your third-string quarterback. And it worked out pretty well for them in 2022 with Brock Purdy. So, and the Bucs are in that Super Bowl sort of mode. So all of it helps. So I still think the Bridgewater addition was a worthy one. And like I said, if he's the third-string quarterback, you really can't ask for better than that.
Agreed. Let's play a little sound from Saturday night. Just go. There's 2 pieces from Kyle Trask. If you want to play either one, go ahead and pop them up there, and we'll talk through them. And there's one from Bowles as well.
I thought I did a good job just staying within the rhythm of the game, trying to stay as consistent as possible. Not trying to do anything special, just play within the scheme. Try to limit the negative plays, don't turn the ball over, just keep the ball moving forward.
There was a play when you were standing in the pocket, waiting for Ryan Miller to clear. You did. You threw the ball on time. It took a wallop too. But what do you like about that play? The payoff that comes for taking that hit.
Those are the best moments as a quarterback. To be honest, when you stand in there and get through your progression, and that's when you get those big hits. Is when you're able to stand in there and and the guys can open up for you down the field. Felt great. It's one of those where you throw it and you're like, well, either the crowd's going to cheer or they're not. And then if the other sideline starts cheering, it's like, that's terrible. But it was one of those where the crowd started cheering and I was on the ground. I was like, all right, that probably went well. Because I saw it open up and I saw the window for it, so I just let it rip.
We didn't see Emeka long, but you hit him on a big play. What's it like to connect with him that early in the preseason?
That's great. And he's super mature. He's a quick learner, plays hard. He's just a great player to be around. And then, I knew that he was going to be fired up to make some plays. His first NFL action. So I'm glad that we're able to connect. And fortunately, we didn't get to connect again on that down the field shot, but he's done a great job and he's going to continue to do so.
Kyle, do you think you needed to come out and play well tonight with the obvious signing of Teddy this week?
I'm just concerned about being the best that I can be. My whole thing, my whole career is just control you can control. And I wake up every single day and I try to be the best that I can be. I try to be the best that I can be at practice, my routine, whatever it may be in the game, obviously. And that's always been my focus, and it will continue to be my focus going forward.
Looked like your decision making tonight was quick, and is that something you're most pleased with?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely pleased with that. I think that's just the confidence within the system. Being around Grizz, another year. Obviously, this was his last year. Similar scheme, so there's some turnover there. But yeah, I feel really confident with this playbook, and hopefully I was able to show that tonight.
So I think he, all those things that he said, spot on. And I asked him about the timing because I think that has been an issue for him. I went back and watched the tape, and the sack that he took, he had a guy wide open underneath. You got to take that check down. You just got to take it. You cannot take that sack. And he had a guy open wide underneath that was Sean Tucker. And the linebacker was 4 or 5 yards from him. That's a 25-yard play. Yep. But when you hit him in stride, when he's open in the flat, it's probably going to be a 20-yard play. You got to take that. You got to take the profit. And there was another play where he missed somebody underneath too, and I think he ended up running. The throw to J-Mac was great. I mean, he stared down the barrel as I think it was Majors, the center, got blasted up the middle. And he stood in and threw it. Wasn't a great throw, but J-Mac went out and got it, and you love that about him. Same thing with Ibuka. The throw to Ibuka was not great, but those guys are going to go get it. They're going to beat the defensive back, especially those guys they're playing against, every single time. So those are good throws. And he made some other really good throws to the backup guy, 81.
Ryan
him. Yeah, Ryan Miller. He made some really good throws to Ryan Miller. So, it was a good night, but it wasn't a great night. It wasn't a great night for Kyle Trask. I think it was a good night. Now, let's play the other one, which I think is a little bit more interesting. Rick Stroud asked him a question about what he'd been told, which I thought was a very interesting answer.
Let me go find that one because I didn't have it loaded here. Hold on.
Okay. Go ahead and play the Bowles one, because I think Bowles talks a little bit about the fact that he wasn't great in practice this past week, and we needed to see him, play under the lights.
Do you have an update on Rachaad White going?
Not yet.
Rachaad White update first and foremost.
He actually hurt the play. I'm sorry, before he got hurt. Did he hurt it the play before and went in and stayed in?
I'm not sure. He said he heard it the play. He felt something in the last play.
Yeah, he went and took another rep.
Can you talk about the interceptions tonight and just how, you had guys tipping passes to some of your other defenders, just a lot of pass breakups and interceptions?
It's good to see him carry it over from practice to the game. It's a good start. It's preseason and everything else, but we've been emphasizing it, and it fell in our favor tonight, so that was good to see.
How did you think Kyle Trask played? And is he just one of those guys that might be more of a gamer than a practice player?
I thought he played very well. He was 12 of 16. He made some timely throws down the field, one to Emeka, he made one to J-Mac, and he made another one. So he did a very good job controlling the offense. He was poised in the pocket. As far as being a gamer, need more evidence, but he's off to a good start this preseason.
Need more evidence.
Practice wasn't as sharp. the last week, but he came in the game and he played well.
Practice
Thoughts
not
on
as
Nick
sharp.
Jackson and his big plays tonight.
Football player from the time he came in here, he was somebody we wanted to see. We wanted to watch. We were paying close attention to him. He just knows how to play the game. He knows how to play the game. He's very instinctive. He can read things. He's physical when he needs to be physical, and he knows how to cover. So he did a very good job tonight.
Your thoughts on Jacob Parrish tonight in his first start, going up against some veterans like Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley?
I thought he did a good job, especially out at the corner spot. You know, nickel spot, we had help going inside that he got to leverage out once or twice, but I thought he did a very good job from that standpoint. And the preseason is going to be great for him. And I'll look forward to him having a heck of a season this year.
So you heard him say that, practice wasn't as sharp for Kyle Trask. And for him to say that publicly, they were not pleased, thus Teddy Bridgewater. And I thought Kyle did play better, but I think he's going to have to play even better if he's going to keep the backup quarterback job. So we'll see. And he mentioned Nick Jackson. This kid, I think he might just make the 53 as the fifth linebacker and special teams guy, because he just has great instincts as a linebacker. I think he led the nation in tackles as an all-time record for tackles. And he's just everywhere. He had 6 tackles, led the team, 2 tackles for loss, an interception, and a pass breakup, and a sack.
Only player to have a sack and an interception this week in preseason.
Yeah, this kid can just play. He reminds you a little bit of Zach Bond, who was brought in. Nobody thought he could play inside linebacker and kind of did. Pretty damn good. So I don't know if he's ever going to be that good, but he's a really interesting young man. And, obviously this is a veteran group with Levante probably playing in his last season. Servassier got a lot of run, and Bolt said he wanted to see him with the helmet on, calling all the plays without Levante out there. And I thought Voss played well. But obviously Anthony Walker and Deion Jones, I think they got a great room full of veterans, but there's not a whole lot of youth behind them. And these 2 guys, Bullock and Jackson, are just good, solid inside linebackers, both of them. So I think that's good. When you talk about depth, it's good to have these guys, especially when the other guys are older.
Yeah, I go back to last year's comment. Todd Bowles talked about his football team, and he mentioned that, we don't feel great about our depth, or however he phrased it. And I think we sort of saw that last year when the Bucs had the injuries. We saw the depth come in, and it was really rough. Yeah. And I don't want to overreact over one preseason game against the Titans, who clearly were the worst team in football last year. But the depth on this roster, it looks completely different, and it looks a lot better. At least you feel a lot better about it, because beyond Nick Jackson, who I think at this point you have to find a spot to keep him on the roster. We've been hearing about J.J. Roberts all offseason, about how he's been making plays in mini camp and in OTAs and in training camp. And then we get to see it on the field, and it's like his versatility, the fact that he can play nickel. And all of a sudden you look at it. Todd Bowles loves him some Christian Izzian, guaranteeing him a roster spot.
He's good.
J.J. Roberts has the ability to play nickel. Jacob Parrish, we know, is going to be the starting nickel. And I think he was pretty good the other night. I know he had a couple plays where he'd like to have back, but that's going to be the rookie growing pain. So that's a position which I always talk about is turned into one of the most important around the league. And the idea that they're moving Tyke out of that spot, wasn't really sold on it. But all of a sudden you look at it, they got 3 other guys on this roster who can fill that role. And you put Tyke next to Winfield, and you hoping that that's going to be a better partnership than what Whitehead and Winfield was last year.
Yeah, agreed. And just in general, 10 pass breakups the other night. 10.
When have you
10
seen
PBUs.
that from a Buccaneers defense?
3 picks and 10 PBUs. Holy smokes.
They should have had 4. Josh Hayes. Hayes.
Yeah, they had a couple drops.
Please.
And that just, to me, and I know these are backups. I get all that. But you go out there and again today, you're watching them go 11 on 11. And the difference in proximity of defender to receiver is dramatic. Last year, the Bucs, I believe, were last in the league in difference between receiver and defender. And it was, I think, by a wide margin. And it's because of that, all the zone that they played, and they weren't confident in the man-to-man guys that they had. And so I think that's the way Bowles thought he had to play, but it was the great wide open. It was just absolutely awful. And this year there's a huge emphasis to much more man-to-man. and it's working. There's so many more plays are contested than were last year. And again, I know it's backups, but just the sheer number, it just goes to show you the philosophy of what they're talking about. Getting turnovers, being stickier in coverage is working. It's tangible. You can see it. So I think I think that may be the best thing I saw the other night.
So
it's backups.
So we talked up the linebacker room. We talked up the secondary. And now I need to put a wet blanket over
This guy.
that guy and the pass rush in general.
More right rudder says rough game from Braswell.
Yeah, rough is putting it lightly. When I saw Chris Braswell come out for the third quarter, I thought to myself, that's not a good sign. If Chris Braswell is playing in the third quarter of the first preseason game, I don't think that had to be the plan. But just quite frankly, going up against backup offensive linemen, and this is the worst team in football last year, I didn't see him do anything. Nothing.
He just slams into the tackle and sticks to him. It's like he's not even trying to get around him.
There's no finesse to his game at all. None.
It's just there's nothing there. There's no pass rush moves. I don't see him twirling or trying to get by the guy. He just slams into the tackle and sticks like flypaper. That's not good. It's not good. I mean, he's staying in his lane. The quarterback doesn't get outside of him, but outside of that, it's just a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
And in one-on-one drills, you kind of see the same thing. You just, I don't see it.
It's a whole lot of nothing from, a lot of those guys, honestly, the other night. And both the sacks they got came from linebackers. None of it was from the outside guys, and none of it was from the interior. There was really not much pressure the entire night, to be honest with you, from that Buccaneer pass rush. But yeah, Braswell, it's just hard to it's hard to have so much confidence in him and everything. And obviously David Walker already going down, so you lost a critical depth piece there. You had better hope, and the Bucs had better hope that Hassan Reddick is anywhere near the player that he was for the 4 years leading up to what happened last year.
He's going to be really good. I have a ton of confidence. I have a ton of confidence in Yaya, who again today was giving Charlie Heck fits in some one-on-ones. Yaya, I think the front four is awesome. And Mike Green's good. They got a little depth in the middle. And I think Anthony Nelson's good. I think he's got some go. He's a great backup guy to have. But Braswell, I don't see it. Just don't see it. So
very, very Joe Tryon-y.
Yeah, he is. And Logan Hall's having a great preseason. I think he's going to be a factor. Elijah Roberts, maybe they move him outside. It's where he played in college, right?
Yeah. I don't know. That's certainly the position group though that I'm just little not fully confident in yet. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So we'll see. But that's something that I was not really pleased about at all. So that's an issue. All right, so let's I tell you what, let's take a break. We'll take our first break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll get to comments. I don't know if I mentioned you to this yet, but we have a special guest coming on at 11:30. Crypto Matt is what I like to call him. Crypto Matt. He knows all things crypto, and I have to get the bottom of this